Hello, Bigfoot enthusiasts. Scott here from Squatch America.
Brain fart.
Yeah. And
Anna, domestic goddess, not all cozy and warm in the paddy wagon tonight.
no, we are in the super secret Bigfoot blind out here in the North Maine woods in an undisclosed location.
Otherwise known as my yoga pavilion outside the paddy wagon.
I was making it's exciting. Boy, we got a great show for you tonight.
But first, play our intro.
Here we go. All right, folks. So tonight we are going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. First, I'd like to say thank you very much for our patrons who we had our first live chat
with our patrons
yes. Last Friday and got to see your faces. Well, one of you wore a mask, but not the COVID mask.
Oh, you just said the bad word.
I did, but the other mask. So
hey, she was Zorro. I was impressed.
She had a Zorro.
I want that filter.
Yep.
So hi Renee, good to see you, and Donna's here. And hi Pink, our granddaughter is watching.
Hi.
That's what I'm going to call you from now on, is Pink.
Pink.
I like it.
All right.
You know, actually, do you like Pink the singer? I think she's pretty awesome myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I like her a lot. She raises her kids well.
So again, we want to thank our patrons, and if you'd like to join us, you can join us over on Patreon, and links in the description below, and join us. And then every Friday not every Friday, but the first Friday of every month, we are going to have a live Zoom meeting with you guys, so we get to talk. Chat face to face, anything, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, not just Bigfoot, but it's like talk about whatever you want. If it's Bigfoot, great. If it's your favorite recipes, great. If it's like
get to know each other.
Yeah, that was fun. We discovered that Patty was a social worker.
Yay!
It was like, wow, there were a lot of us burnt out social workers out there. Holy cow.
But anyway, also okay, let's get right into it. So today we're going to be talking about our recent Bigfoot town hall meeting we did in Millinocket
at the Sawmill Bar and
last
Grill.
Thursday, at the Sawmill Bar and Grill, and we want to thank Angel and Dean. I always want to say Dan. Yeah.
Angel and Dean Sear.
For hosting us there. They did a wonderful job. It was awesome, and we all had a lot of fun. And in fact, we talked a little bit about doing it more often, just for fun.
Yepers.
I know there's a place in Portland, Oregon that does Bigfoot and brew at the bar.
It's called Suds and Squatch.
Suds and Squatch, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Every once a month, I think they do it. So we might start doing something like that while we're here. That'd be kind of fun. But we got to meet a lot of people from the area, and we got a few stories, but mostly it was just really good conversation and talking Bigfoot. I got to answer a lot of people's questions, and I got to ask them some questions, and we give away some door prizes, and it was a lot of fun. And speaking of door prizes,
tonight we are sipping on Katahdin Moose Trail coffee, which Scott says tastes just like hazelnut. I don't taste it. It's pretty good. I'm looking forward to trying Moose Smooch next time. But anyway, this is part of that Cynthia Jackson's line. I actually looked up on her website, and it's no longer listed, so I don't know if she's even carrying this particular blend anymore. But so something that we will be doing from now on, only on our Patreon live chat. So this is why you want to get in on those. From now on, we had two guests on our first Patreon live chat, Patty and Renee. They're both here. Hi. And as a thank you for them being part of our inaugural Patreon live chat, they both got a package of Cynthia Jackson, This Guy's Nuts coffee, that wonderful coffee that has all the weird names like fluff your nuts and your nuts are sticky and wash your nuts and all the nuts names, right? Anywho, I'm not going to go any further with that. But they both got a small one-pot package of coffee. And so from now on, at every single live Patreon chat, we are going to draw 2 names from the people who are in attendance and send them a random door prize.
Yay.
It could be coffee.
Or it could be Bigfoot junk.
Yeah, we have no idea exactly what it's going to be. We'll decide then. So anyway, what will happen is we will post the link to the Zoom room the day of the chat, so that you and you should get notified through Patreon. I think it emails you and all that, but that's where the links are going to be. So just plan on the first Friday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain. No, wait, no. 6 Mountain, and 5 Pacific.
There you go.
Bring whatever it is you drink.
Yeah, so let's get into this, as they say.
Do they? Who is they?
That's one YouTuber I watch. I think it's
Officer Tatum.
Yeah, I think it is Officer Tatum. But anyway, we're going to share. Well, first of all, we had the Bigfoot town hall meeting. We did. It's kind of interesting and typical that we ask for people to tell their stories, and a lot of times all you hear is crickets. But then in the back of the room later, they share your stories with you. So that's kind of the fun thing. And I love sticking around and talking with people afterwards.
This is the one we want.
That's
not.
Right. This is.
That's okay. From Texas. That's the one we want.
I know.
Okay.
So.
Sorry, I had to correct him. If you have not.
We're going to share both of them.
But, well, I know that, but that one's local. This one's not.
So.
If you want to see something funny, go to YouTube and look up the Man Song, and then you'll understand us.
Yeah. So, we have a local report that we got, and it's really recent.
This is extremely recent, and we want to thank Grace. And by the way, Donna, congratulations to your daughter. Wonderful. Graduations are always wonderful. What will also be wonderful is if in 5 years you ask her, what did you learn? And she can still tell you. After 5 degrees, I have no idea
what you learned.
But I'm still paying for them. Okay, so we want to thank Grace, who is from Maine, for her report. The date of this sighting was May 29th. So that was like not even 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
She saw this at 2:30. It was in the afternoon. It was warm, partly cloudy with some sun. By the way, she filled out this report beautifully.
She did.
All the things. Now, she had her encounter at Baxter State Park, which is 15 miles up the road from us.
Yeah.
So as the crow flies, probably what, 5 miles?
5 miles as the crow flies, probably.
Yeah. So. And she was in the Patton area of the state park. So anyway, here is her encounter. We were leaving Baxter State Park, and I saw in the mud a huge footprint. It was not a bear print. It was way bigger than a bear print. I said, hey, it's a Bigfoot print.
That's her report.
That's the report. She saw a Bigfoot print at Baxter State Park. It was bigger, way bigger than a bear print. So, with that, take it away. Your turn.
My turn.
Yeah.
Okay. I love reports like this. It's a lot of fun. We did email her, and I don't think she's got back to us yet. I haven't seen one. You know what? I can sneak.
That's okay. You know what? People hardly ever check their email anymore.
Right.
Emails That's why, honestly, I do everything through Facebook Messenger. So if someone says you're always on Facebook, like, heck yeah, because that's where I get all the messages.
Yeah.
So we're checking email right now.
So I was wondering if, so.
Look for Lucky Louise. That's
I know, I'm trying to, because I sent her a message trying to figure out exactly where this footprint was, because we'd like to go find it and take a really good investigative
look at the area.
Yeah. I'm looking for.
You're on the wrong tab.
I know, I'm getting there. There.
Oh.
Okay. So anyway,
nope, doesn't look like.
Nope, not yet.
Wait, what's that? Go back down. Go back. I saw something weird. There was one.
Oh, there it is.
Oh. Well.
Oh, I guess we didn't email her because we got that
mail delivery subsystem saying this email account doesn't exist. So.
Or maybe we did it wrong. Okay, we'll have to try it again. Oh, so be careful when you put your email address in.
Yeah, make sure. Grace, if you're listening, contact us. You can message us or
Okay, we're back.
Were we gone? It still it says we were never gone.
Okay.
Scott is completely kerfuffled now.
I know.
We lost our screen. We lost our tab here. So
hopefully you heard what we were talking about or saw what we were talking about. If you didn't, we're back.
We're back. And don't ever check your email while you're on screen again.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Okay. Anyway, looks like Pink is eating a spicy taco from Fiesta Chicken for dinner. It's hard to comment. That's all right. We don't want you spilling cheese or taco.
You went blank for a sec.
We were gone. Oh my gosh.
We're back.
All right. So here's the deal. Scott tried to check his email while he was doing it. So no more multitasking for you.
I know. So anyway, we tried to check and see
if we got an email response.
Got an email response for her.
She
did not, because I closed the tab and I shouldn't have, but I'm back now. So thank you very much.
Moving on. She saw a footprint at Baxter State Park, and that's her report. So talk to us about footprints in this area. You should know.
Yeah, we have found quite a few footprints in this area. I'll tell you one thing about this area up in like the Baxter State Park area, and just basically the whole North Maine woods, which goes from about Bangor, Maine, north to Canada, yeah, and all the Acadian region up here. See how I threw that in there? Acadian region.
I see what you did there.
Okay, but the great thing about this area is, one, there's a billion moose, and the reason there are a billion moose is because there's a billion lakes and there's a billion marshes, and
moose like to muck about in the mud.
Yeah, the only place that there aren't extremely thick forests is the extremely wet, marshy areas. So there's a lot of little ponds, a lot of marshes that you can sink to your knees in the mud in.
Someone described Maine, if you look at it like from space, they said that Maine looks like a sponge.
It kind of does. Yeah, it does. You got the forest, and then the open, spongy hole parts are water.
Just everywhere.
Just everywhere.
Funniest thing that someone said to us when we got up here was, yeah, we're in the middle of a drought right now. Okay. I mean, like,
it's like, are you kidding me?
There's so much water here. It's insane.
Yeah. You can't walk 100 yards through the forest without running into a little marsh or creek or a spring or something up here, which is really good for footprints. Yes. That's the great thing about this area is, unlike down in Texas or even eastern Oregon and eastern Washington and Idaho, is the fact that it's so dry. It's hard to find footprints. You got to be there in the spring or in the fall. But this up here in Maine, it's year round. It's marshy all the time, everywhere.
Marshy or frozen?
Yeah.
Either marshy or frozen.
Right, and it's just like, like down in Falk, Arkansas too. There's marsh and swamp and stuff, down in that area. So footprints are more prevalent. I understand that. So we're going to try to get hold of Grace. So Grace, if you're out there, in case we said this while we were blipped off, please get a hold of us. We sent her an email, but it bounced back. So maybe we got it wrong, or so when you put your Bigfoot reports in, make sure you get your email right on the form. Thank you.
What am I drinking? Hannah. Oh, so if you missed it, this is Katahdin Moose Trail coffee. Scott says it tastes like hazelnut. I don't have a commentary on that.
You don't? You don't think it does?
When I think of hazelnut, I think of, like hazelnut flavored creamer, which tastes like sugar.
Okay.
So I don't know. I've done a coffee tasting before, and I sort of learned how to pick up the subtle flavors of coffee, but I really kind of suck at it, and I just think it tastes like coffee. So
this next report is for Collins down in Texas.
And yes, by the way, I think you have been living in a desert your whole life.
Yeah.
Idaho where Boise is a high desert.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
We got a little sketchy internet tonight.
Yeah, sorry. Elon Musk, if you're listening to us, I highly doubt he is. He doesn't know who we are. But if you're listening, please get Starlink in Maine. Boy.
Yeah.
All right. So this is thank you to my friend Jody Hartley from Tyler, Texas. She's one of my Facebook friends. So this is hers. Now, this is an older report from 30-ish years ago, and that's quite all right. Quite all right that we get old ones, because guess what? I don't think Bigfoot keeps track of calendars.
No.
All right.
And no, Renee, it's not you, it's us.
Yep. Yep, we're fine. We're fine.
It's our internet's a little sketchy tonight. So.
Yep. So, all right. So this happened again, thank you, Jody, for submitting your report. She's from Tyler, Texas. This happened in the late fall of 1984 or 1985 in the late evening or early morning, about midnight-ish, between midnight and 1. The weather was great. It was a little morning chill, so that fall chill in the air. This is Lake Tyler East. So now she says that she has seen Bigfoot twice in her life. That's pretty amazing.
That is awesome.
The first time was about 30 years ago while camping on Lake Tyler East, and then I saw him again about 2 years later on my way home, not far from where we camped, so same general area. I remember walking into the house, and my dad was already up and dressed, asking me what was wrong, and I told what I saw, and told him it was not the first time either. He went with me back to where he was standing, and all that was there was some strange fibers of hair.
Ooh, wish I could get a hold of those.
Yeah. He then told me he had seen Bigfoot several times in his life. Thing was, I was not afraid at all. In fact, it was almost soothing, in a sense, to see something that big, but knowing he wouldn't hurt me. This is what I posted. Now, this is what she told me on my page on Facebook. Now, here's the and the reason that she's a little hesitant to give location details, because she doesn't want hunters out there who could harm.
Fair enough.
And just saying we are anti-harm.
Yep.
Because it's really hard to study your subject if he's dead. So anyway, the first time, as I mentioned, I was camping on Lake Tyler East. We just shut it all down and we're in the tent. The fire was still going just a bit, enough to cast a shadow over most of the tent. As you know, noises in the woods are common as the night goes on. And if you grow up in the woods, you know your night sounds. You know a deer walking versus a wild boar or even an opossum. She's a nature girl, this one. You know what are human footsteps versus animals from the sounds of the underbrush. Now, with that being said, what happened next was terrifying as hell. We were in the tent when we started hearing the sounds of a human walking, but it was a harder walk than a normal man. It was a low thud, almost dragging its feet as it walked. There was a small vibration as well that you could feel from the earth. Just a few minutes later, and I happen to know that Jody is very connected with the planet. Just a few minutes later, a shadow started appearing on one side of the tent. We all know shadows can be larger than life, depending on how light is cast, and this was a huge shadow, well over 7-8 feet tall. I remember sitting there trying not to scream with my gun on one side of me and the machete on the other. This thing circled my tent about 3 times. It looked through my coolers and moved things. Then the shadow became so large, it was completely on top of the entire tent. At that point, I had to get out. I cut a slit in my tent with my machete and ran to my truck and left everything. The next day, we went back to retrieve our belongings, and what we saw was imprinted forever. Most of everything had been tossed, but not torn up. The tent was down like someone had a fight with it and lost, but the footprints we saw were out of this world. They were not bear prints. They were huge and oddly shaped. We didn't have cell phones back then. We were too young to grab a camera and take a photo. We just never went back. So that was her first encounter. The second time was about 11, maybe 18 months later, so year and a half later, and only about 10 miles from the first encounter. I lived on Lake Tyler East for about 8 years when all this was happening, and the second time was much different than the first. This time, I was in my car, and it was about midnight again, and I was coming home from Tyler. As I turned off 346 to 344, it was on the right side of the road, standing next to a telephone pole, just looking at me like he was waiting. This time, stalker Bigfoot. This time, I slowed enough to really see it and look at its face, and it was looking dead at me. It was, again, just as tall as a telephone pole, and he had his hand wrapped around the pole, just standing there. The odd thing was I wasn't afraid this time. Somehow I knew he knew it was me, and he was trying to tell me something. The fact is I was driving pretty fast on these country roads, nighttime, and I think he appeared to make me slow down because I did. I remember driving the rest of the way home going 20 miles an hour and thinking, what are the odds of this happening again, just a few acres apart? My dad met me at the door, and I told him what happened. We went back to see if he was still there or what. He was gone, and because there was an oil-top road, there were no footprints, but here there were strands of hair there. Not deer, pig, cow, goat, or any other wild animal we'd seen. It was real dry, kinky hair.
Kinky hair?
Kind of like that stuff from Mexico, Maine.
Right.
It smelled, but no smell I've ever smelled. That's it. I don't fear Bigfoot, or depending on what kind of the part of the country you live in and the other names he goes by, he is not out to harm anyone. So... what are you doing? You're flipping windows again. You're going to lose them.
No, I'm not.
You're going to lose them. If he blips out, it's because he's messing with things. Just saying. Okay. So that was Jody's double report. So what do you have to say about that?
I think it's really interesting. One, the going through the coolers and all that stuff.
I've heard that before.
That's a common thing. Which gives me a thought that I think there's some brazen Bigfoot out there.
Probably adolescent males.
Right. Yeah, it's not the first time I've heard that. And secondly, they're really curious. And thirdly, I think, just like we talked about, I think with the she-squatchers, that women in the woods have a better chance by themselves than men do.
That's because we're pretty and we smell better.
Exactly. No, but to have a...
It's true. Do I have a cold, Patty? No, it's just honestly.
We got to tell you Hannah's problem. Okay, we're in the North Maine woods. It's kind of funny. A couple days ago it was like 89 degrees and it was hot all night long, but today I think we're down in like 50s already.
I'm turning the electric blanket on.
Yeah. so it's like it was like up to 70 today, but it's dropped to like probably 50 already.
I literally spent all day sitting in front of a campfire. I did all of my work outside in front of the campfire and everything. And
she has a thing.
Okay, so I have a condition. Now this is don't worry. This is not a huge condition.
It's not a big problem.
This is called Raynaud's syndrome, and it seems to run in my family. And in Raynaud's syndrome, you have really poor circulation in your extremities, and so like once it drops to below 72, that's all it takes for my body to perceive that it's freezing to death. And so I turn blue. My lips have been blue all day. If my fingernails were not this beautiful shade of peach or whatever that is. Thank you to Melissa at Fusion H in Bangor. You would see that my fingernails are blue and my toenails are blue and my nose starts to run.
Yeah, your lips.
My lips are downright purple.
Yeah, right now.
But yeah,
it's just the body reacting like it
cold.
Is to cold, like you would if you were freezing, but it's not freezing.
Yeah, that's why I belong in Florida.
Is that it?
That's why I want to go to Florida. Yes, I want hot, but anyway, I need a shot of bourbon. I've got some pretty awesome bourbon in the camper. I don't drink very much. I use the Renee says agree. Agree on the bourbon or agree we need somewhere hot. I use the bourbon to make the best chocolate chunk cookies you've ever had in your life. I could send chocolate chunk cookies out as a door prize.
You could.
Anyway, they're going to want that now.
So yeah,
I don't eat those often.
I just looked it up. It's 57 right now.
That's really cold.
We're going to get a low of 48 tonight.
That's too cold.
Actually 46.
Oh, are we turning the heater on tonight? I think so. Or if we don't turn the heater on, the dog will be.
We'll put the big blanket.
And the dog will be crawling into bed with us.
Yeah. Our dog's from Arizona, so.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the report. Bourbon, baby.
Yeah. Back to the report.
Hey, I could add it to the Katahdin Moose Trail coffee. Okay, so back to the report. What do you want to know about the report?
Oh, I want to know that, well, first, Tyler, Texas is a very busy Bigfoot place.
Yeah. Joe, if you are watching, we've got another report for you. If you ever get up to the Tyler area, let us know. Because she is more than willing to talk to one of our people.
Yep. So, there you go, Joe.
Anyway, what else on this report? The mucking about through the stuff, tearing up the camp.
Well, that's like I said, that seems to be a common thing, but it usually, I had one campsite experience too. One time when Pete and I were up camping. Remember the tree thing?
Oh yes, tell that story. That's kind of creepy, weird.
It was, yeah. We went out. We had spent an evening, did some tree knocks. Didn't get anything happening, blah, blah, blah. Went back about 11 or so, got back to our campsite.
Two pup tents kind of.
Yeah, we had two pup tents and set up. And so we crashed out for the night. The next morning we wake up and there's about a 6-inch around
pine tree?
Fir tree that was laying between our tents that wasn't there the night before. And I found where it came from. It was pulled out of the ground, roots and all, about 12 feet away from our camp and then laid between our tents during the night. Yeah. I took it as an arrow pointing, go that way. So we did.
Get
We did.
out of my woods.
Get out of my woods. So kind of interesting. So we did that. And by the way, LA 99.9.
999.9. Are you a radio station?
Yeah.
We do live shows.
Yeah. So hello
From Arkansas.
Hello from Arkansas. One of my favorite spots on the planet.
We're trying to get Northwest Arkansas to accept our application to do that relocation thing for teleworkers, since we both work online and are self-employed and would only be adding to the Arkansas economy. We're asking them to pay us $10,000 to relocate there. So far, they've said no.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
I know.
Anyway, we love Arkansas.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and I love Falk, Arkansas. That's Bigfoot Mecca, and I love being there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was crazy. Well, anything else? I am more looking at the second report, that she was speeding down the highway trying to get home, and then there was a Bigfoot on the side of the road that made her slow down.
Yep.
As if it was waiting.
Or she's speeding and just happened to catch it.
Well, yes, but she mentioned that she thought it was waiting for her.
Could have been.
She said it was on the right side of the road, standing next to a telephone pole, just looking at me like he was waiting. This time I slowed enough to really see it and look at its face, and it was looking dead at me.
Wow.
Eyeball to eyeball. Now,
Yeah.
tell us about that kind of experience.
Well, I've had one of those experiences.
I know you've had one of those experiences.
How is
that?
Eyeball, but
how is that segue?
I don't know. But enough about me. No, we wanted to. Geez, I can't think that it would be like waiting on the highway for you. I meant, how did it know she was speeding down the highway miles away and had to be there? I think it was probably a chance encounter.
A chance encounter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But that does segue into a story we got from our Bigfoot Town Hall we had.
Okay, do tell.
Do tell.
And while you're remembering that, oh, Patty says the Bigfoot is her spirit animal. That could be.
That could be.
I'm not gonna discount that.
Dale, you're late. Okay.
All right. So tell about the story from the Bigfoot Town Hall.
Okay, from the Bigfoot Town Hall, we got a story, and where's that picture?
I don't know where that picture is. I don't know what you're talking about. I never know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to see if we caught that gentleman that gave me the picture. Nope, I don't think we did.
Anyway,
Anywho,
he really didn't want to be known anyway.
Right.
He was pretty anonymous. So tell the story.
So, story was, he was up here on the Huber Road, which is, where's my hand? That way. Not that it matters to you, but it runs behind where we're at right now, actually. Kind of around the edge of town and then out into the woods. So he was out there logging, or he wasn't logging, he was on the logging road, the Huber Road. And he had pulled over and stopped. I can't remember what he said he stopped for. But he had the dome light on in his car, and he had turned the headlights off. And so he couldn't see out the windshield really well. But he looked up, and down the road he saw two red lights and he thought it was a logging truck that had maybe pulled out in front of him off a spur road and was headed away from him, because it is a logging road. But it was late at night, so he wasn't sure why a logging truck would be driving at night. So he turned on his headlights, and lo and behold, the two red lights weren't a truck a long ways away.
They were eyes.
They were eyes really close to the front of his car.
Oops.
And with the dome light on, they were reflecting off the dome light in the car. And when he turned the headlights on, he saw the Bigfoot standing right in front of his car, looking in there, looking in the window at him.
That's a little scary.
It is. And then when he turned the headlights on, it turned and walked across the road and into the ditch and off into the woods and disappeared. So I think the theme for the evening is, with the reports that we've got, is that I think Bigfoot is as curious as humans are about finding things in the woods, or
As curious about us as we are about him?
I think so.
Okay. Fair enough.
I've had other Bigfoots tell me that, or other
Bigfoots. Are you communing with Bigfoot
yes,
now?
Mentally, no. I've had other Bigfooters.
Okay, thank you.
The Sasquatch
Squatchers.
Squatchers, Sasquatch searchers, squirchers. I just made a new word. Anyway, so but
see what I have to put up with.
So I've talked with quite a few, and they say, and I agree completely. Leave the camo at home, because you're not going to sneak up on these things. Not a chance in the world. Because
they even say that about regular animals. The camo is does nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, don't read the chat. Just keep talking. You're boring them.
Okay. So anyway, they they say leave the camo at home, and a lot of times I do. But I'm wearing this tonight because it's warm, and it's my hunting stuff.
I'm wearing pink tonight because it's warm.
Big puffy coat.
My big puffy pink coat.
But anyway, so so I do think a lot of times, if you go in the woods and just sit there and be quiet, or even make noise,
human activity really attracts them.
Yeah, human activity attracts them. So a lot of times they'll show up.
Well,
we've had stories with people cutting trees and the Bigfoot shows up. A lot of loggers have stories when they're, get their logging camps broken into and stuff thrown around, like she did with her equipment.
With her camping stuff.
With her camping stuff. Because they're in the woods.
I've heard reports of just like playing the guitar or the harmonica and they come up.
Yeah.
I wonder what a Bigfoot would think of me and an accordion.
Ooh. So yeah.
I should probably learn how to play that.
You probably should. But another one, there's my Bigfooting buddy from Maine up here, Mike.
Hey, Mike, if you're watching.
Over in Rumford, who recently contacted me when they got some activity going on over there right now. But he has had success playing the sound of human babies crying
in the
woods.
That's just creepy.
And we'll get response from Bigfoot. They get that nurturing thing going.
They apparently do. They're fond of children. It's just like us, though. We see a baby anything. Right. It doesn't matter if it's a baby bumblebee and we want to cuddle it. Because I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee. Because they're cute.
I knew that was coming.
No. Whoa, what was that?
Bird.
I know it's a bird. Anyway, but a baby, anything. I mean, babies are just, they're wired to trigger the nurturing oxytocin in all creatures. So oxytocin.
That's a word. Okay.
Do you want me to spell it?
No. No. So this is kind of fun. We're sitting out here, and if you notice, it's getting dark. For those of you over there on the west coast of the United States, it's probably still daylight.
I wonder if the two back-to-back eclipses affects their behavior. Well, okay, so let me talk about this before you get all wacky. So I'm not an astrologer. I am not one of those people. I am deeply spiritual and am way too woo-woo for my husband's comfort level. I do not think that that the movement of the planets and the things in outer space are in control of us. However, with that said, there is scientific indication to suggest that planetary activity affects our bodies just like it does the bodies of water. We're so deeply water-based because we're, what, 65% water? We know that the moon the cycles of the moon affect human behavior because of gravity, how gravity shifts and changes. And anyone who has been in people work, teaching, social services, medicine, and all that, there is something to be said. Oh Lord, it's a full moon. God help us all, because it just increases the pull of gravity on people. And so I'm thinking, if you have, and these were lunar eclipses. So I am not an astronomer. I don't necessarily understand it, but I'm thinking, you know, when gravity is messed with from a cosmic level, it's going to have some kind of impact on all behavior, all creature behavior. It impacts us. So if it impacts us, it impacts them too. Now, how that does that, I don't know. Do they dance within ring stones and burn Palo Santo? Probably not. But I just I don't know. But I'm sure
so
it does.
Jill just said there's a solar eclipse this morning. Do you mean
like earlier today or tomorrow? I had read it was coming. I don't think it's a full solar. Like when we had the eclipse in Baker a few years ago, that was a full don't look at it solar eclipse.
Yeah, we had a full-on eclipse in the middle of the day too.
We had front row seats for that. They actually, you know, it was so funny. It was like the whole town declared a holiday and people didn't go to work and everyone sat in their front yards, and we had an eclipse festival, and it was so funny. Oh, it was today at sunrise. Well, yeah, I slept right through that bad boy.
That would have been me too.
So I don't, you know what? Here's my point: is if it is enough to impact, if the effect on gravity is enough to impact humans, it's enough to impact everyone else. If it's impacting the tides, it's impacting everyone else. So I don't know what it did. I slept through it. I should have gotten up and burned some Palo Santo and chanted something.
Okay.
I don't even know what Palo Santo is. I just know one of my YouTube people talks about burning Palo Santo all the time. Okay. Renee says that Candy and I were at Red's Horse. Oh, Candy as in candy?
Are you talking about Candy Hoffman?
Red's Horse Ranch. Boy, doesn't that bring memories.
It does bring back memories.
Did you have some burgers while you were up there?
Well, they used to have. I don't know if they still have the restaurant there. They used to.
She's laughing at you. Anyway. Okay. It smells good.
Oh, that stuff you're
Palo
talking
Santo,
about.
yes. Oh, yes. She was with Candy.
Oh, candy.
And anyway, so let me re-answer the question, Patty. I don't think that an eclipse is going to affect them any more than it affects us.
I think that was Donna who asked that.
No, that was Patty. Okay, there's a question. Do you guys think there are other Bigfoots like there are more? Yes. Talk to your granddaughter about the species of Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, there are species. They're just like us. There's, lots of them. Not as many as
Humans?
us humans, but I'm pretty sure there's thousands and thousands of them all over the world. So
yeah, we figure there are how many in the Pacific Northwest?
There's kind of a guess due to the amount of reports you would get, but up in the Northwest, which the Northwest is usually considered Oregon, Washington, Idaho. That's the Pacific Northwest.
And British Columbia.
And BC. But
they're Canadian, so we don't count them.
Yeah. But they consider in that area there's, it's an estimate between 4,000 and 6,000.
Just in that.
Just there.
Yeah, and that's what, about 1,000 square miles?
I don't know. It's a lot more than that.
Oh, okay. I have no idea. I don't do math. From Baker City, awesome.
Hi, Galen.
And by the way, Renee and Candy had steaks, those traitorous wenches. Oh, I made some pretty good steak stir fry the other night, though. I was pretty pleased with myself. Steaks from Red's Horse Ranch. OMG.
So, yeah.
Anyway, what else do you have for us tonight?
Well, we had all the Bigfoot reports from Maine.
And from Texas.
But mostly from Maine. But where we're at right now, there was some more hair sample things. What was that? We're supposed to be getting some more hair samples from somebody I talked to.
Oh, that's right. She was describing the hair as being kinky.
Right.
Talk about hair.
That's what we were going to talk about, because last year from over in Rumford, actually.
From Mexico, Maine.
Yeah, Mexico, Maine.
There is a Mexico, Maine here.
Yeah, there's a town in Maine called Mexico. But over in that area.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
So there was a hair sample that was collected, and it was hooked on a fence in somebody's backyard. Once again, very curious. These folks had recently tore down a fence and had left these panels, fencing type panels, kind of strewn about in the backyard. And they woke up one morning and found the panels had been stacked up nice and neatly, and they found hair on them. This lock of hair looked a whole lot like a dreadlock,
and very kinky,
which is par for the course. And I actually got to look at that sample myself. I got to see it and hold it in my hands.
And put it under a microscope.
It was pretty legit. It was hair that...
Did it have the right kind of core?
Yeah, we got some pieces that had the
cuticle?
Or
the follicle.
Follicle.
Still intact.
It's still intact. And the other end of the hair, now here's something that's very interesting if you find hair in the woods. You kind of need a really strong magnifying glass or a microscope like I've got to look at them. But, or you can look really close with your camera on your phone. You can zoom in and get really close with it that way too. But if you can look at the end of the hair, and if the end of the hair tapers to a point, it's all natural from a wild animal. It's not from a human, because humans get their hair cut.
Very true.
And their hair are cut off straight on the ends, unless they're split. Split ends is another human thing, but animals and things that's never had their hair cut
or brushed
at the end of the hair, it is tapered. And this hair
was it tapered?
It was tapered.
Interesting. So, all right. So Pink says that she's going to her friend's house who lives in the woods. If she hears Bigfoot, she'll let you know.
Good. Try to record it.
Yeah, take your cell phone and turn on record.
Yep.
So it is 8:50. We got 10 minutes. So so let's talk about future plans. What's going on? What's going on in the life of Squatch America in the Paddy Wagon?
Okay, coming up, we are going to have a Bigfoot festival in
August 7th.
August 7th in Millinocket, Maine. So if you're in New England, make a trek up here. Bring a tent. You can camp overnight in the campground with us, if you'd like.
If we get enough people, we will. Ooh.
What?
I could get my barista on.
Yeah, there we go.
And we will roast marshmallows.
Yes.
And Nutella. Denise will have Nutella.
So we're going to have the Bigfoot Festival during the day, and then that evening, if you're going to be staying in the campground with us, we'll do that.
We'll do something fun.
We'll do something fun.
Bonfire!
Bonfire. We'll have a big bonfire.
An accordion, and we'll track some Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Because we know that they have been in this campground.
Uh-huh.
We have found prints here, which is where I thought you were going to go with that, but you never did. So there we are.
So we found footprints. Well, we already talked about that a couple shows ago.
But not everybody was here. Anyway, so after that.
So after that, we are going to beat feet.
Pink, listen up. We're
going to beat feet back to Oregon. Because we have another Bigfoot festival to do in Wolf Creek, Oregon, which is over by Grants Pass area.
August 27th.
On August 27th, we will be there.
And we get to visit my mama.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I haven't seen her since April of last year.
So we'll be
back in Oregon. So Renee, we've got to do a meetup.
Yes, we will be blazing through Idaho and Oregon, so we'll be seeing all the folks there.
And all of our family members. So Pink.
Yep, we'll be.
Pink, I hate to break it to you, honey, but you're going to have to be in charge of family events because no one else can figure it out.
Okay.
It's true.
Yeah, so we'll be charging back through there. Then we're going to be probably jetting up after the Wolf Creek one. We're going to be jetting up north and go to the
there's one
Yakima.
Yeah, at the beginning of October. There's one in my hometown of Yakima, Washington. There's another Bigfoot conference there. So we're going to be in the Pacific Northwest for a good 2 months.
And the one in Yakima, we know for a fact that she squatchers are going to be there too. So we're gonna meet up with them,
with my sexy friends.
So we'll get to see them. Not on Zoom. That'll be kind of fun.
Hey, and we get to hug each other.
Yeah.
And drink adult beverages together.
Yep. And then after that, I don't know. But if you want to keep up with everything, just follow us over on our Facebook page and go to Squatch America and sign up on the for the email.
Yeah.
Promise we don't spam. In fact, we hardly send emails out at all. But when we do have stuff, we make sure that you guys know about it.
Yep. So
follow us over on Patreon.
Yeah. So like this video, subscribe to this channel, share this video with everyone you know. Everyone. Spam people in Messenger. Say, hey, you got to watch this Bigfoot. These Bigfoot crazy people. Get the word out. So. My goal for this channel is to have 10,000 subscribers. So help us get there. Tell all your friends. 10,000. I'm learning to dream bigger than it feels like. I've got some big dreams for the next year, and they feel bigger than I am, and they're a little overwhelming. So help us get there. Anyway, so anything else for the good of the order?
I think that's about
it. So remember that our job is to investigate the unexplained.
Not to explain the uninvestigated.
Until next week, family. So keep it squatchy.
And go out and find Bigfoot.
The end.
The end.
Bye-bye.